The first product I'm using is the Fab Me Leave-In Conditioner. I'm spraying it into my hands and then I'll be applying it to my hair. I prefer doing it this way instead of just spraying it directly into my hair because obviously I can't see the back of my head, and by doing it this way I can ensure that the product is going to be spread out a little bit more evenly because I feel like I just have more control this way. If I was doing hair on somebody else, it's totally fine. I always just use the spray bottle, but since I'm doing it on myself, I like to actually feel the product with my hands and comb it through with my fingers. I'm focusing on the mids and the ends of my hair, and then whatever's left, I'm putting it all over. And then now I'm using my wet brush to comb out my hair. Not that my hair is really tangled, but I find that brushing my hair after I've put in product just helps it distribute a lot better throughout all of the hair. So now I'm using the Gloss Me Hair Serum. This is my favorite hack. Ever since I started doing this, my blow dries have been a lot smoother. I used about 2 pumps of it, and just like before, I'm focusing on the mids and the ends of my hair. Because I just washed my hair, I don't really need to add extra moisture to the roots of my hair because my roots are generally pretty healthy compared to the mids and the ends, which are a lot drier. But yeah, as you can see, I'm just combing through with my fingers. Whatever's left can go on the top section, but I focus mainly on the bottom parts of my hair. And now I'm using the Blowdry Me Lotion. This is the Blowdry Lotion that I talked about before. I really love this product. As you can see, I had to open up the bottle and get what I had left. So this has a very similar consistency to the leave-in conditioner. It's just like a white, kind of thick liquid. And then after I comb through with my fingers, I actually like to comb through one more time with the wet brush because I find that the Blowdry Lotion works best when you get it all throughout the hair. So now I'm starting my timer just to see how much the Blowdry Lotion really makes a difference. I didn't really edit this blow drying part. All I really did is speed it up because I mean you don't really need to see me like rough dry my hair. There really isn't anything to note about this other than I'm rough drying my hair. So what rough drying means is that I am trying to get my hair as dry as possible, as fast as possible. So because of that, you can see me using my hands to spread out my hair and to lift my hair away from the scalp so that my scalp will dry first. The goal here isn't really to get my hair bone dry because I am going to go in with another kind of like round brush tool, but for now I'm just trying to get my hair at least like 80% dry because I'm going to use the Revlon blow dry brush to kind of really style my hair, but I do need to remove as much moisture as I can from my hair because my hair is so incredibly thick. I think if you had finer hair, or if you were someone with maybe wavy or curly hair and you wouldn't really need to rough dry because your hair would get frizzy. If you were somebody with that kind of hair type, you would probably totally skip this step and just go right in with the Revlon blow dry brush or any kind of similar product. But because my hair is straight, it's coarse, and it's thick, I do have to rough dry it. And also, even if I wasn't going to use a round brush tool, I would still always rough dry my hair, at least after I shower, so that when I go to bed, my hair isn't damp, it's not soaking wet. If I was going to use any hot tools like a flat iron or a curling iron, this is generally the same thing that I would do before. Obviously, you do have to dry your hair before you heat style. I would actually section off the hair just to speed it up as well. But since I'm just rough drying and I'm going to be going in with another blow dry tool, I just don't really see the point of that. The products that I showed you earlier are the ones that actually have heat protectant in it. So it's all perfect. It's all meant to go together. Alright, so I just finished rough drying and it took me under 6 minutes. For the amount of hair I have, I'll take it any day. You can even see my not bad face. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with the Revlon round brush. My hair is dry enough. I didn't dry it all the way, just like I said earlier, and now it's time to really dry it all the way through and style it at the same time. So I'm sectioning off my hair and I'm starting at the bottom section. I split it into two. Usually anytime I style my hair, I always split my hair in the middle, at the back, just to make it easier and a little more manageable. And here I'm showing you the controls. So there's cool, low, hot. Yeah, there's low, high, cool, and just off. So what I'll usually do is I'll take a section. I like to start at the back of my head and then work to the front. And I find that the first few sections are always really tricky. The goal of the round brush is to try to get it underneath the section of hair. By getting it underneath the section of hair, you're gonna get more volume that way. So basically, if I had to explain it, I'm trying to get as much tension as I can on the round brush underneath the section of hair. If you have to, you can even use the brush to kind of comb through the section like I just did, because it's pretty, like, unless you're really used to using this tool, which I'm not quite used to it yet, it can be a little tricky and your hair can kind of get caught in it. So you can even just use the brush to kind of comb through. But once you have all of your hair in that section kind of rolled under the comb, you can hold it there for a few seconds and then comb it out. What's really important with this brush is that you have to try to get as much tension as you can near the root of your hair. Because the round brush is so big, it's meant to create more volume in your hair as opposed to actually curling your hair like the way a round brush might, because round brushes come in so many different sizes, whereas this brush is just the one size. It's a really big brush, so unless you have really long hair, I don't see this making any waves or any kind of curls on you. If you have hair like mine, it's just gonna add a lot of volume, and that's about it, which is fine because all I'm looking for is a nice smooth kind of blowout look as opposed to like curl. The first setting I'm using is high, and then once I get all of the hair kind of wound up and it's sitting near the root of my hair, so like right here, when all of my hair is rolled up, I'll even use my hands to kind of hold my layers in place. I leave it on high for a couple seconds, and then I'll actually switch it to the cool setting. And then leave that for a couple seconds, and then once I'm done, I turn it off, leave it for a couple seconds, and then I brush it out. By utilizing the hot and then the cool setting, what you're essentially doing is having your hair mold around the round brush with the hot setting, and then you're setting it with the cool setting. And then by kind of brushing your hair out in the same way that you rolled it up, you're reinforcing that kind of rounded shape of the brush. That's how you make sure that you get the most volume, because with this brush, I'm essentially emulating everything that I would do with a regular blowout. And if you really want to have volume near the root of your hair, it's important to kind of over direct the brush upwards. So get the brush underneath the section of hair and then kind of use that tension and hold that tension up. By having it nice and tight near the root of your hair, you're essentially having it set higher on your head, so that you're giving yourself a root lift. By giving yourself a root lift, that's how you're gonna have more volume and your hair is gonna look nice and big. It should be noted that because this brush is just blowing hot concentrated air, when you're doing sections around your face, it actually does get pretty hot. So if you're holding it near your scalp, just be really careful of that. If you ever see me kind of cringing or like making some sort of face in the footage, it's because I came really close to burning myself. So the high setting on this brush is actually very powerful, and if you're not careful, your ends can actually feel a little crispy. So if you have finer hair, I actually recommend that you go in with the low setting. I have very coarse hair, so I'm using the high setting, but like I said, just get a feel for it and just make sure that you're utilizing the cool setting, because the cool setting is going to help you reinforce that rounded shape and keep that volume, and that's what's going to make this kind of blowout last all day long. Now this top section of hair is the most important if all you're after is volume. What you want to do is take horizontal sections and over direct the brush upwards and forwards. So I hope you can kind of see it here, but if not, I'm going to do more of the sections as I go forward. Essentially, you're starting at the back of your head, and then you're going to work your way forward towards the front hairline. So now I'm taking another section closer to the front of my hairline, and I'm still over directing the hair forward and putting the brush kind of on top of the hair now, and then over directing that way. By doing that, that's how you get the most root lift. It's kind of tricky to explain, so hopefully you can get a clear understanding of what's going on. But this top section is really important, especially for those of you who have kind of like face framing layers or even like curtain bangs or something. If you have any kind of pieces around your face that are a little shorter and you want to have them nice and curled away from your face, this is the way that you would do it. For this front piece, it's the most important piece. So make sure that you're leaving it on the heat setting for a couple seconds, resting it, and then putting it on the cool setting, resting it, and then you follow the same way that you brush your hair up as you take it out. And that's it. That's the finished look. This is how I get the most volume out of my hair. So just practice with the round brush. Remember that to get root lift, you have to over direct your hair up and forward away from your scalp. And that's how you get the most root lift. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!